What's up, guys? We got one here from the wall. She thought she'd have it all by 40, but men don't want her. Let's get into it.
I just think it's so funny how women think about having kids and they're like, is this even a world I want to birth kids into?
She goes on to make the comparison that when men talk about wanting kids, they're just kind of like, oh, I just want a little mini me. Like, I just want a little guy running around. And like, honestly, the truth of this, men don't really have to have complex reasons for wanting kids because they don't actually expect to be doing all that much in the raising, and they're really not risking much by having kids. If they don't intend to become the primary caregiver, then having kids is not going to impact their career, it's not going to impact their long-term finances, they're going to be just fine. If they are in line with the prevailing statistics, they're still going to have leisure time, they're still going to be happy, they're still going to be rich, and they can divorce their wives at any point for a younger model who's not going to complain. Having kids also confers status on men. They are seen as better people when they're fathers, and they tend to stamp their last name on their child as well, so they get the benefit of a legacy, I guess. Whatever that fucking legacy is going to be. And risk so much and have to consider so much in the decision to have children, which is why it's so frustrating that there's this cultural myth that women are all baby crazy. And studies show men want children more than women do.
She seems a bit angry much. But yes, the I just want a little me running around line, because men, according to this enlightened theory, want kids for the all profound reason women do, right? No. See, the video tells us that men don't need some deep emotional reason to have kids because society lets them coast along in life unaffected by pesky little things like responsibility. It's as if raising a child is just another weekend project sandwiched between fantasy football and, I don't know, replacing lawnmower blades? Who comes up with this shit? But let's get real. Men who have kids, they're looking for 50% custody at best if a relationship tanks. Not to mention child support laws, which have men paying between 20 and 25% of their gross income per child, making mini-me's sound more like a monthly financial sinkhole. So yeah, so a lot of men might want kids, but it's hardly the carefree fantasy this clip paints it as. No, guys, you're not just handing off a legacy, you're signing a long-term contract for potential court dates, alimony, and daddy weekend badges. And yeah, that upgrade to a younger model, sure, if you're a celebrity or pulling six figures a year, but for the rest of the population, your chances of trading up go down faster than your 401k in a recession. So this idea that men just can't divorce and upgrade is laughable at best.
When men don't do enough housework, it makes women not want to fuck them, in news that will shock lots of men and absolutely no women. A new study confirms something women have been screaming about for years, which is that when your partner doesn't do enough of the household labor, it A, makes you resent the fuck out of them, and B, makes you see them as just another child, which is not very sexy. We have a long history of pathologizing women's low desire for sex, but has the medical industry or men in general ever considered that maybe women's partners were just being unfuckable the whole time? Feeling like your partner's mother is not conducive to desire. When they are burdened with too much household labor, it really pisses them off. And of course, if they're the ones doing all the labor, then their male partner is dependent on them in exactly the way a child is. And only Catholic priests find children sexy.
Wow, are we seriously hearing that men's refusal to do the dishes is killing the desire for women to jump in bed? I had no idea dish soap was this powerful. Shit, next time me and my wife get together, I'm bringing the dish soap. We're going to have some fun. Forget lingerie and date nights. If you want passion, better invest in a Swiffer and some Lysol. Here's the reality. The narrative here says women are turned off because they feel like they're parenting a man-child. But let's not forget that millions of men who work full-time jobs come home to a second job called chores and still hear that they're not doing enough. The whole man as unfuckable children angle might make for snappy dialogue, but it's ignoring that 41% of marriages where both partners work full-time see men and women sharing housework pretty equally. And the real problem, women are constantly told they're victims of our patriarchy that's clearly giving men all the perks. And like being nagged about vacuuming.
Once believed that male privilege was real.
It's easy to be anti-feminist when you're still young and skinny and pretty. Your perception that systemic misogyny and male privilege don't exist is directly related to the fact that men still treat you well because they value your youth and attractiveness and agreeability. But being young and pretty are currencies that depreciate rapidly.
Which is a currency that has depreciated for her. She's not ugly. She's not like a 10 either. She's got attractive quality to her, but this attitude makes her like a 1.
A 22-year-old 15 more years, and the force of the patriarchy will be much more evident to her, and it might hurt more for being unanticipated. When you still have youth and beauty, it's easy to let men tell you that you are better than the bitter harpies who came before you, and then you believe that you are inherently a cut above them. So you align yourself with men's power because you believe that that will make power accrue to you. But it won't. As I always say, making yourself an ally to the patriarchy will not make the patriarchy an ally to you. At 22, you don't realize that your high standing with men is ephemeral. It will not last, no matter how pretty you start out. You think that older women are self-victimizing because you have not yet been victimized by the patriarchy in a way that is obvious to you, but it is already happening and it will get worse. As surely as the sun will come up tomorrow, men will exploit and abandon women when they are no longer pliant, cute, pretty, sexy, and agreeable.
I think she's been chasing too many Chads, and this is why she's bitter. So tell me how your dating life really is going. You know, it's the good old you'll see once you're older threat. According to this brilliant take, the patriarchy is like a ticking time bomb waiting to go off the minute that you hit 37 and discover a wrinkle. You know, because at 22, you're still too naive, basking in the glow of male attention, and once that fades, bam, misogyny slaps you in the face harder than a bad Tinder date. Well, stop chasing the Chad and you won't have this problem. You know, now here's a fact. Women perceived attractiveness does decline with age if you're only looking at surface level traits. I mean, hello, Tinder culture. But guess what else happens? Men too start losing hair, gaining a gut, and spending more time Googling how to fix their backs than dating apps. That's why you go to the gym, you work out, you eat healthy, you work on your mind, your body, your soul, your money, and you'll stay ahead of the game. But the reality is both sexes get that aging shaft. Men don't get it as bad because we age like fine wine. But the patriarchy argument is it assumes that any loss of male attention is some grand conspiracy rather than the sad reality of nature's indifference of passage of time. And let's not forget, plenty of men are abandoned or ignored as they age too. But we don't call it matriarchy, do we?
Do women really baby trap men, or is there a possibility that it's the other way around? Men baby trap women. Men baby trap women into exploitative gendered household labor dynamics that are weighted against women. Men baby trap women into long periods of low or no income when they've had kids. Men literally baby trap women inside the home with infants who are difficult to take out into a man-made world that is hostile to people who are breastfeeding or using prams and strollers. Men baby trap us into being too busy as primary carers to participate in the public life and activities that can gain us political power, which gives us the ability to create change for ourselves. Men baby trap women into abusive relationships where we are too physically and financially vulnerable to leave. And even if a man is meaningfully concerned about getting someone pregnant and he wants to control his reproductive choices, he always has the choice of wearing a condom. He also has the choice of standing up for women's reproductive rights.
You also have the choice to keep your legs closed.
And even if that condom fails, as contraceptives sometimes do, and he accidentally gets someone pregnant, it's not him who will be trapped.
You know, and I see where this is going. Men are out there scheming to baby trap women into motherhood so they can stay barefoot and pregnant and chained to the kitchen. I mean, really? In what universe? Because in this one, women filing for 70 to 80% of divorces, walking away with primary custody 79% of the time, and turning around to claim victimhood. Let's also not forget that men have zero reproductive rights. If he doesn't want the child, tough luck. She decides to keep it. He's on the hook for 18 years of financial support, whether he's ready for fatherhood or not. So who's trapping who here? You know, because from where I'm standing, it looks more like men are the ones baby trapped into paying for decisions they didn't ultimately make. And that condom argument, funny how the responsibility always falls on men to fix everything while reproductive rights for women are considered untouchable. She sounds like she's from UK, and if I'm right, I get it because of how screwed up things are there right now. It reminds me of the Bay Area in Southern California, where majority of the people are just miserable.
Study has found that women over 40 are being age discriminated against at work, and so are women under 40. So that's great for all of us, I guess. The researchers discovered there is no perfect age for being a professional woman because the right age to be as a woman is a man. Middle-aged women are seen as difficult to manage and have too much family responsibility, but if they're a man, that's not a problem. This bit's going to make you scream. Some hiring committees decline to hire middle-aged women because they might have menopause-related issues and be challenging to manage. Yet those jobs were given to similarly aged men. The quote here says, "You're not seen as middle-aged, you're seen as old, whereas your comparable male counterpart is seen as in his prime time." This same study showed that women under 40 are having their credibility and experience dismissed because of their age. This part's gross. Younger women were called pet names, patted on the head, experienced role incredulity, meaning people didn't believe they held the roles they held. They get mistaken for students, interns, trainees, support staff, secretaries and stuff. Such inaccurate assumptions were especially prevalent for non-white women. Research has concluded that men are promoted based on their potential and their professional ambition is not a bad thing, whereas for women, the goal is to try to keep them in their place, supporting men in the male-controlled environment.
Ageism in the workplace, it's real. There's no argument. But the idea that men skate through middle age while women get handed menopause management issues on their performance reviews is a bit too on the nose. Men don't have a menopause equivalent, that's true, but they do have heart disease, hypertension, and the looming existential crisis of never quite measuring up to societal expectations of success. Plus, on top of that, with the highest self-deletion rate at this time. Here's the truth, ageism impacts both sexes. It's not like your 55-year-old dad gets promoted because he's got a penis. He's more likely being pushed out by a 28-year-old with 2 MBAs and an Instagram page. Age discrimination sucks, but it's not just a war on women. It's a war on anyone over 40 who doesn't have a six-pack abs and a LinkedIn profile with the word disrupt in it. So anyways, guys, that's the end of the video here. So what do we have? A world where women are oppressed by lazy men who barely pick up their socks, yet somehow these same men are secretly running the world and plotting baby traps to imprison women in the kitchens and nurseries. Meanwhile, men get to skip merrily through life and never ending stream of financial and social benefits. Here's the reality. Men have been dealing with their own set of struggles, unseen, unheard, and ignored. Men are constantly demonized for being human, for aging, and for not fulfilling some impossible expectation for perfect parenthood. All the while, the legal system chews them up, spits them out in the form of child support, alimony, and custody battles they rarely ever win. So what's the solution? How about we stop the battle of the sexes nonsense and realize that both men and women are getting the short end of the stick. Men need reproductive rights, women need equal pay without pulling the patriarchy card, and maybe, just maybe, we all can stop pretending that doing the dishes is the key to a healthy sex life. Although I am going to take a bottle of dish soap one day and see how that turns out. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the video here. If you like what you've seen, hit that like button, share, subscribe, drop a comment down below on what you guys think, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.